Announced all the way back in the fall of 2019, the HP Chromebook X360 12B, crazy naming aside, was one of the first Chromebooks announced with the new USI Stylus initiative. And all that really means is that eventually the day will come that we'll have one type of stylus that will work on all sorts of devices, Chromebooks, Windows devices, who knows if Apple will come along for the ride, but basically you could buy one stylus and know that as you change Chromebooks or whatever, you can actually use that same stylus on each Chromebook that goes forward. Well, the rollout of some other devices that were announced about the same time by HP happened, and they showed up and they were widely available, but the 12B kind of took some time to show up on shelves, and we just got in contact with HP not too long ago, and they offered us up a review unit of the 12B. So we just got this thing in, haven't really had any hands-on time with it prior to this, so we figured it was time to do a good old-fashioned unboxing. Before we jump into the box, today's video is brought to you by NordVPN. They're the VPN of choice for millions of consumers because they're awesome at what they do, and that is keeping your browsing safe and secure, whether you're at home or out and about. If you'd like to learn more about them, head over to chromeunbox.com/NordVPN to learn more and get started today. So let's dig into the box here. It says on the side, this is basically the entry-level version of this. So we're talking the Gemini Lake, so the N4000 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. There are some different configurations. I think you can get up to 8 gigs of RAM, and I think they have the Pentium Silver available in certain markets, but it's nice to use the base level on these things because that gives us an idea of what we're gonna get for the introductory price here. And as always, since this Chromebook is technically months old at this point, I couldn't even tell you what it goes for right now. It's probably gonna be somewhere in the $300 to $400 range. Obviously, as we write up the article that'll go along with this video, it'll be linked in the description below. It'll tell you a little bit more about where we're at price-wise with this device right now. But again, Chromebook prices fluctuate pretty wildly, so it's almost impossible many months in to know exactly how much a Chromebook's gonna go for at any given time. There's another box in here. Well, look at that. This came with the USI Stylus. So up until this point, we have not been able to track down the HP Stylus, the actual USI Stylus, for purchase anywhere in the States. So it appears as if there's one that comes with this. So that's an added bonus I actually didn't know. Like, we knew that USI Stylus support was in this Chromebook. We didn't realize that the actual stylus was available. And we've looked just within the last week for this device in the US market because a lot of people have asked about it, and we still can't find it actually for sale. So it looks like if you want one of these, buy this Chromebook apparently. Everything else in the box is pretty standard. That's kind of unfortunate. So you're getting a pretty standard power brick here. I mean, it's USB Type-C, which is expected, but kind of like the little wall blocks, especially with those gallium nitride chargers that are out nowadays. You can get the nice 45 and 30 watt chargers for much smaller real estate, but nothing else really surprising in the box. I'm really surprised about this. So actually, let's look at the pen first and see what's up here. So nothing super wild here. So it's rechargeable. Looks like there's a little getter for the nibs. Yeah, we've got an aluminum pen. Yeah, the ability to, oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. You can actually just slide this out, and there's the USB Type-C charger. So the charger that's in the box for this device will charge your pen as well. No idea at this point on what the battery life is for that. It's also got a flat side, so I'm assuming it magnets itself. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a nice sturdy magnet. So two things of surprise here. A, that the USI Stylus is in the box, and B, it's got a nice flat side with a very sturdy magnet that holds it onto the side of the Chromebook. I mean, that thing's on there really good. If you've ever used one of the Surface line of devices or an iPad Pro, it's that kind of level of stickiness. So I mean, that thing's not gonna go anywhere. You can move the Chromebook around, it's not going to fly off. All right, so let's talk about the Chromebook real quick. Same anodized aluminum top that we've seen, on HP devices for the last, I don't know, couple years. So not a huge surprise there, but always welcome. It looks good. It feels good. Bottom feels like it's plastic for sure. And let me get this thing opened up. Keyboard deck feels aluminum, so that's a good sign. Trackpad is plastic, so it feels like the trackpad that's on the HP Chromebook 15. So that is to say, it's not glass, but it feels really good. And not surprisingly, HP's done a great job with their Chromebooks lately of building really good input methods. Keyboard feels very much like the HP X360 14 and the G1 and all those really nice Chromebooks that have really great keyboards on them. Yeah, no backlighting on the keys, which is not surprising for a Chromebook. This is kind of a mid-range entry-level type Chromebook. But the standout we get here is the 3x2 display. So we've got, it's like a HD plus. So think of a 1366 by 768 screen and add some pixels at the bottom. So it's 1366 by 912. It gives it that nice 3x2. And you have some pretty slim bezels on the sides as well, which leads to interesting choices needing to be made on the keyboard side of things. So there's basically no room here on either side when we're talking about the keyboard because, the screen is tall versus wide. So you're getting a 12-inch HD plus screen. So it's not going to be pin sharp, but it's going to look pretty nice, and it's not going to extra tax the processor inside of here, which is good because the N4000 is good. It's not amazing. So let's take a look at this thing. And I'm a fan of 3x2 screens, so I like the inclusion of what HP's done here with that, even in a lower resolution screen. As I said before, the keyboard feels pretty excellent. The trackpad feels great. We have B&O branded speakers here again. We'll test those in the review. If older Chromebooks are anything to go by, I'm not expecting too much here. But since we're in here, I will at least get into guest mode real quick, and we'll at least run a speed test and see how quick this thing's going. But overall, I can tell you, I love the way this thing looks and kind of feels. I mean, even in kind of having it in a tablet mode, that 3x2 aspect ratio really helps to, I don't know, give it more of a tablet-y appearance. Now, there's a little bit of a kind of a bounce here. There's no magnetic clasp happening here. So I don't want to sell this thing as like the perfect tablet. And it's a tad bit heavy as well in this mode, but I could see, the benefits of being able to flip this thing into tablet mode, grab your pen off here, jot a handful of notes, and then drop the pen back on to its magnetic little clasp and move on and not really think much more about it. Again, I still like a stowable stylus, but this is definitely a close second to that. The hinges feel good, and these are things that most manufacturers have kind of gotten down at this point. There's a tad bit of wobble, which is to be expected on a convertible device, but the screen feels decently bright. Again, we'll test this in the review. I would rate it probably around where the rest of HP's are, somewhere in the 220 to 250 nits, something like that. But one last thing before we finish up here for this unboxing, I did want to run that speed test, and running an Octane on this, I got a 15,873. And again, Octane is outdated and maybe not the best measure, but it's the easiest one for us to measure past Chromebooks against. And when we start getting into the 14, 15, 16,000 on Octane, you're getting to the place where you can move around Chrome OS with relative ease in general and not feel all kinds of lag and stuttering and animation drops and all that kind of stuff. So it's very encouraging to see this chipset perform this well with an Octane score, because again, with the minimal resolution on the screen and not having so many pixels to push around, it's not doing a quad HD or anything like that, it should perform really well. Again, we have to get into all the review stuff and we have to deal with all that stuff and really actually use it day to day before we can say that. But this is encouraging to start off with. And again, I love this 3x2 aspect ratio, and I just like the way this thing looks on the desk already. I love the more square versions of Chromebooks. But again, until we get some more testing done on this, and I can tell you, hey, the resolution helps the N4000 to get along nice and swift feeling, and I didn't have problems with multitasking, and the keyboard feels this way, and the trackpad does this, and hey, in tablet mode I found this, and the USI stylus is great at this. There's so many unknown things. with this device. And honestly, the fact that it comes with this USI stylus out of the box really changes the whole review process here, because again, this is the first time we're actually getting to use USI stylus on any Chromebook whatsoever at this point. So I'm really excited to spend some time with this, use it as my daily driver, my workhorse for the next week or so. And then, we'll get back to you with a full-on review and I'll give you all my, impressions at that point. But guys, that's been it for this one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go down there and hit that subscribe button, and be sure and hit the join button down there below to see all the benefits and all the extras all of our members get, like behind the scenes footage and custom emojis and stuff like that. Till next time, we'll see you.